Encanto bite from The Last Jedi? Redeemed. That was a bad joke. Because Encanto and Canto bite both have Canto in them. Yeah, it's a terrible joke. I'm sorry, guys. Encanto is the new Disney animation movie. It is the second Disney animation movie to be released this year, following Raya and the Last Dragon earlier in the year. Encanto is about a family called the Madrigals, who live in an enchanted town in the mountains of Colombia. Every child but one in their magical house has been granted a unique ability such as strength or healing powers. Mirabelle, the only ordinary Madrigal, discovers that the magic is under threat and she may be the only one able to save it. Encanto does follow what you would think a Disney animation movie would. We follow a main character who discovers that he or she is destined to do something, but maybe doesn't have the skills or the uniqueness to do it, stumbles along the way, comes into a conflict with somebody along the way, and then that conflict is resolved, and then they have to do something at the end of the movie as well to save the entire world. So it does follow that main trope of what this new Disney Renaissance with their animated movies follows. However, that doesn't mean Encanto is a bad movie. Encanto is still a damn good movie. Despite my issue with mostly following the Disney animation formula, I loved Encanto. I thought Encanto was really endearing and heartwarming, and the songs were some of the more catchy songs I've heard in a Disney movie in a long time. This is a musical. It's in the similar vein of Frozen and Moana. Lin-Manuel Miranda helped write these songs. They're just so catchy. The lyrics fit in with the story. I liked how there were different animation sequences for each of the songs. It wasn't just following somebody through a house. There was something else going on in the background as well that sprung a lot of life and energy into these songs. Not a single bad song, which is a good thing because some Disney movies have some bad songs. Even some of the Disney movies that you watch a lot and you hear the songs so many times over on the radio, it's just like, let it go, okay, skip. And this one is gonna be like, nah, because like you have that feeling where I was sitting in the theater and I was like, I want to get up, bust down, and start dancing right now. Let It Go doesn't have that feeling for me. How Far I'll Go from Moana doesn't have that feeling for me. It was a different approach to the songs that I think really benefited the movie in the long run, especially when you consider that any of these songs could be considered the best song in the movie. The animation, once again, is top-notch. I cannot commend Disney and Pixar. I know this isn't a Pixar movie, but anything with animation nowadays, especially from Disney and Pixar, it's just photorealistic. Man, I cannot commend them enough for how far animation has come. It has reached new heights here. Lots of colors in this movie that go along with some great textures and contours, brighten up the scenes, and the little details. A character's eye blinking in the background just amazes me now. I don't know why. It just does. This world is also very inviting. It's a very easy world to settle into if you're a viewer. You understand the concept of the world, because something like this could get too convoluted, especially where it's like, oh, these characters have specific gifts. These gifts give them powers, but how do they get these gifts? The movie explains it, and it explains it in a way that doesn't treat us like we're dumb. I was very appreciative of that, while also leaving some scenes open-ended for some questions that you may have to be answered later on in the movie, and luckily they are. And while this movie does follow a lot of the Disney formula, it does break away from tradition in one aspect, and Frozen 2 in a way broke away from this aspect as well, and that is it doesn't have a main antagonist. They set up some characters that you think could be the main antagonist, and I guess this plays into the predictability factor of the movie, because you can predict that either this character or this character is going to be the main antagonist and prevent Mirabelle from carrying out her mission to save this town. It doesn't end up happening. It's almost like you're reading between the lines of these characters. Character arcs took unexpected twists and turns that I didn't expect them to take. And I did have that feeling at one point where I said, okay, when's the main antagonist coming in? But then I left the theater thinking, you know what? That movie, unlike Frozen 2, benefited from not having a main antagonist. And here's why. Because the way that this world is set up, it doesn't call for a main antagonist. There were so many setups in Frozen 2 that did feel like it was setting up a main villain, and the main villain seemed like it was hiding in plain sight in Frozen 2. And I know I'm somewhat contradicting what I'm saying about some of the characters in this movie. With Frozen 2, I think it was more of a clear path as to what characters could have been villains. And then it felt like the writers were afraid to go down that route with any of the characters, so they just gave up on crafting one of those characters as the villain. This movie, you think it's obvious, but it's not as obvious as it could have been in Frozen 2. And in terms of who a main villain could be in this movie, as I said, the writing's not necessarily on the wall. And the story itself and the setting of the story, essentially one location set in this house, I think it would have hindered the story of this movie if there was a main villain. I think that would have been a distraction. Thinking about it now, I don't see a place in the story for a main villain, unlike how they handled Frozen 2, where there were many places and many characters that were hiding in plain sight, ready to blossom as the main antagonist of that movie. I'm gonna say I really enjoyed Encanto with a full bucket of popcorn. You can get past some of the Disney animation tropes that the movie follows, you're gonna have a really good time. A lot of people are going to love this vibrant world, and just seeing how far the animation has come, it is mind-blowing. Like, there was a trailer before this movie for Lightyear, and just the background itself looked damn real. It was photorealistic. I could not believe it, and there were many scenes like that in this movie too, so if you do watch Encanto, I really hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. Two great Disney animation films this year. I think Raya and the Last Dragon I would put slightly above it, but Encanto's still really good. Have you seen Encanto? What did you think about it? Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.